Hello, my friends. Today we are covering one of the most tragic days in motorsports history. We are going to be talking all about the 1955 tragedy at Le Mans. Let's do it. In full disclosure, I didn't really mean to pick this topic. My brother and I were covering on our radio show the history of Le Mans, and it's hard not to go down a rabbit hole covering the 1955 tragedy of Le Mans. So here we are. The Le Mans is known as the most thrilling 24 hours in motorsports. It is a race of both achievement and tragedy. It is one of motorsports' oldest races, with the first being held in 1923. The race is really a proving ground for automobiles and a test of their mechanical endurance. Now, it really is an endurance race. The one that covers the most ground is the winner. And also, your everyday folks are the winner of this race as well. The Le Mans really encourages and promotes technological development in the automobile industry. Because of the Le Mans, we have gotten such innovations such as disc brakes, radial tires, hybrid engines, just to name a few. You see, competitors have to build their cars for survival, not just speed. Let's paint a picture of the times before the tragedy. It's post-World War II, and the Le Mans is jumping with competition. Brands like Ferrari, Aston Martin, Jaguar, and Mercedes-Benz. That is a legit competition of the titans in motorsport. And you're bound to come across some issues when you have an increase in speed and competition without an increase in track safety. One of the cool things about the Le Mans is that it is a circuit comprised of both private and public roads. In 1955, the top speeds at the Le Mans, cars were reaching upwards of 170 miles per hour. I just want to go ahead and warn you that some of the photos that will be displayed are going to be graphic and they're going to be disturbing. And I also want to say that quite a few teams and drivers had made complaints about the safety of the course, had already made complaints for not having a de-acceleration lane for the pit. So let's talk about the sequence of events that shaped that fateful day. First, the main characters that were involved. You had Mike Hawthorn, who was on the Jaguar team driving a D-type. You had Lance Macklin in the Austin-Healy 100S. And you had Pierre Levegh in the Mercedes-Benz 300 SLR. The first domino in this sequence of events was Hawthorn deciding to make a last-minute entry into the pit. He is reported to have raised his hand as a warning. However, keep in mind, in that Jaguar D-type, he had disc brakes. That was state-of-the-art braking system. He was going to be the fastest guy braking on that track. Macklin, in the Austin-Healy 100S, swerved to avoid collision. And he swerved right in the path of Pierre Levegh in his Mercedes-Benz 300 SLR. At 120 miles per hour, Pierre was not able to avoid collision. He did raise his hand as warning to Mercedes-Benz driver Fangio right behind him. It is believed that is what helped Fangio avoid running into the carnage and saved his life. All right, now at 120 miles per hour, Pierre can't stop. He runs into the rear left corner of Macklin's Austin-Healy. Essentially, the back of that Healy was a ramp, and Pierre Levegh, at 120 miles per hour, took off that Austin-Healy in flight over the only safety structure, which was a earthen berm, and into a crowd chock full of spectators. The Mercedes-Benz somersaulted through the crowd 3 times. Its innards dispersing everywhere. The engine flying, the radiator, the bonnet slices through the crowd. And I'm not kidding about slicing. That hood went through the packed crowd like a guillotine. Many spectators were decapitated. And as was the custom at the time, drivers did not like seatbelts. They thought it a better option to be flung from the car as opposed to trapped in a burning inferno. And Pierre Levegh was flung from his vehicle and died instantly. Jaguar driver Duncan Hamilton, watching from the pit, said, "The scene on the other side of the road was indescribable. The dead and dying were everywhere. The cries of pain, anguish, and despair screamed catastrophe. I stood as if in a dream, too horrified to even think." Levegh's co-driver, John Fitch, was waiting in the pit alongside Levegh's wife, and they watched the entire catastrophe unfold. I can't even imagine. And to make the situation even worse, the Mercedes-Benz 300 SLR was made of this ultra-lightweight magnesium alloy called electron. The fuel fire of the crash caused the magnesium to burst into flames, shooting magnesium embers across the crowd of spectators and into the track. To make it even worse, the rescue workers were unfamiliar with magnesium fires and how to put them out. They tried to extinguish it with water, which just made the inferno worse. It was truly a catastrophic day. It's hard to believe that the race went on. 84 people lost their lives. Nearly 200 were injured. Out of respect for those who lost their lives, Mercedes-Benz did decide to not finish the race. At that time, they were first and second. They also asked the Jaguar team to respond in kind, and Jaguar and its driver Hawthorn would go on to win the race. Hawthorn would be photographed sipping champagne after his win, and the French weren't having it. They posted the photograph of his victory with the sarcastic line, "To your health." Now, some of you might be asking, why did the race go on? And there were a couple of reasons given, one of which the authorities thought if they shut the race down, it would cause a mass exodus, which would make it more difficult for the medical crews to help the wounded. They were worried about getting sued from the race teams. They were operating under the old school and tough law of the race must go on. And another reason was nobody really knew who had the authority to call it off. And there really has been no precise point of blame ever given. What do you think? Was Hawthorn's sudden decision to enter the pit lane reckless? Was Macklin's reaction to swerve in his Austin-Healy 100S reckless? Was Levegh not able to handle the speeds of the Mercedes-Benz 300 SLR? Or was this just a case of a dangerous race with cars too fast? Hard to put the blame on anything in particular. On that same note, regarding blame, Hawthorn put out a biography in 1958. That's just 3 years after the wreck. And in it, Macklin, the driver of the Austin-Healy, felt like he put blame on him. It resulted in Macklin suing Hawthorn for libel. There would be no resolution to that lawsuit. Hawthorn would crash in his Jaguar while attempting to overtake a Mercedes-Benz. And that was not in a race. That was just on a regular road. Is that not kind of a crazy ending to Hawthorn's life? It's kind of wild. I thank you all for watching this video. If you like automotive history, press the subscribe, press the like. If you don't, that's fine too. Thanks for watching. This was not my normal tone for a video. I don't usually cover tragedy and catastrophe. So it was kind of a hard one for me, but it goes down as the most catastrophic day in motorsports. And without a doubt, there were lessons learned. And now I really need to go have a beer because that was a lot of sadness to talk about. I cannot imagine being Pierre Levegh's wife. Watching all that unfold. I didn't even tell y'all all the details on that because it was just too much to, I think, for me to say on the internet, even though it's written on the internet, but you get the drift. Anyways, thanks for watching.
It's like a family tree, part of you.